playing little clips and whatnot. Start incorporating that. But now,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Didn't Parker say he was going to be here?
Oh yeah,
don't
he'll
think he's
chip in
drunk yet.
somewhere. He may not be drunk yet, but he'll pop in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on, everybody? We live, we official. You are on the Sideline Guys with the Sideline Guys. And of course, you already know your boy, it's your favorite neighborhood host / mediator, your boy Dwayne. And I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, -1, who might be joining us kind of sort of. He's having a little bit of fun out there in Key West right now, but you know, he might just pop up on us, so don't be surprised if you see him as well. But in the meantime, we got most of the crew in the building right about now, starting with the man right there at the very, very bottom left corner. You know what I'm saying? I got to introduce him first because, well, it's a very, very, very special, wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful episode, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to introduce my boy. You already know, my man is a neighborhood, as you know, faithful New Yorker at heart, native New Yorker, all the way to the T. He is the fan of your resident New York Knickerbockers. He is the fan of those so loving New York Yankees.
Yes,
and of course, I cannot forget, he is your neighborhood New Yorker who is true fans of the one and only true New York team. Those Buffalo Bills. You know, we got to stiff arm a little bit one time, on the sideline, real quick. But nonetheless, this man that's my brother from another, knows I love him very much. Just had to rub it in just a little bit, but we'll get into it later. You know what I'm saying? My man, Jonathan Torado, what's happening, sir?
What's up, man? What's up? I'm having a bad week. My Yankees lost in the playoffs. My Knicks are talking about picking up Westbrook and Chris Paul, and you guys whooped our ass. It's been a bad week, man. I feel like an Eagles fan right now.
No, you don't. We've won a championship. You don't know how.
I'm glad you're an Eagles fan. Speaking of Eagles fans, well, let's go ahead and go into my next guest right here. The co-host, not guest. You already know. He's actually one of the newest members of the Sideline Guys. I don't know if we told y'all last week that he actually just joined the team. So you guys are going to be seeing him a lot more. He's actually he's faithfully really here every week, for the most part. This man actually is our neighborhood resident rookie, but this man has the mind of a vet. This is, of course, your resident Philadelphia Eagles fan, co-host, and co-fan, as we're going to go introduce my other co-host over here, but he is also a resident Celtic as well, as you know. So this man is green all the way, as you know. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the building. Sammy, what's happening, sir?
Hey, what's up, guys? Feel like a new man. Got a new cut. Trying to wipe away all the bad feelings of being an Eagles fan, and so not feeling great. I'm at the point where I kind of want them to lose, so I don't want them to make the playoffs.
You trying to tank right now?
I know they're not gonna beat anyone in the playoffs. They're so bad.
We'll get into that. We're definitely going to talk about that. And I feel you on the fresh cut, brother. I see you, man. Likewise over here, fresh up out the chest. I feel you, man. Hey, feels good to have that new man feel. But of course, last but not least, I got to introduce him. He is the hardest working man in all of showbiz. You already know. He is also your Eagle flying. That's right. Eagle flying. Anti-cowboy loving. Celtic pride wearing. The man, the one, the only, Mr. Derek Myers. What's up, sir?
What's good with y'all? How y'all doing?
Great, man. Sir, I take it you're sharing the same pain as my man.
I'm gonna tell you what, I don't even know what I want for this team anymore. Because I want so much more than what I'm seeing them want for themselves. It's really pathetic at this point. It's really, you know what? I want them to rip down that Kobe Bryant mural in that locker room right now. They don't deserve to have a mural of a champion in that locker room right now. It does not make sense.
I don't know where they're going because they're like -27 in cap next year. So it's
horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you mentioned champion because that's pretty much a great segue into our first resident topic. So
Hey, had to throw the alley-oop, bro.
he had to throw the alley-oop, and this is perfect. So as we know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we would like to say congratulations to those Los Angeles Lakers who, by the way, Sammy and Derek, it's official. You guys are no longer the number one franchise in championships because you are now tied with your rival in the Los Angeles Lakers. How does that feel on top of the Eagles? How do y'all sit with that right now?
I don't really care. I'm actually happy that the Lakers won for Kobe. I think that they should have won. Also, just saying, it took them like 30-something tries to get there. The Celtics have been there 21 tries. So, I mean, they were way more efficient in that. But, yeah, no, I'm not really bothered by it. I'm more so happy that they won for Kobe. So.
Yeah, me too. Happy they won for Kobe. I mean, even if they're tied with us, I mean, if you want to count those other championships, that's cool. But if we're tied for one, we're 9-3 against them in the finals. So we're still the best. I don't care. I'm glad Dwight Howard got his ring. I'm especially glad he got his ring, and also Avery Bradley, former
and Rondo.
Celtic, and Rondo, former Celtic. Mm-hmm. I mean, they will be Celtics all for the rest of their lives. So it is what it is.
Well, hold on now.
I know where you're about to go.
Are you sure in the Rondo situation? This doesn't feel.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as Ray Allen. No, because Ray Allen left us to go directly to LeBron, who was also a rival at the time. He left to go straight to him. Rondo, he went around the league for a little bit.
Listen, I'll go as far as saying this. Ray Allen's move to Miami was damn near KD to the Warriors. At the time, like it's the before KD went there.
In terms of an official shooter?
In terms of the rivalry and stuff, right? Like the Thunder's rival was everybody's rival was the Warriors. Mm-hmm. So any star that went there in the West was just pathetic,
and I would say Celtics fans overall dislike the Miami Heat more. I think they're more of their rival now, especially because of what Ray Allen did. That's how I feel, at least.
Yeah,
I mean, hasn't been much history like going at each other in a while.
It was mainly because LeBron was on the team too. Like we've had years of kicking LeBron down in the playoffs, multiple times. So
I was gonna say, that kind of feels more LeBron rivalry.
You don't blame LeBron for that though. Shit, if I'm getting my ass whooped, what am I doing? I'm calling my boys. That's what he did. So I'm calling my boys. I'm getting D Wade. I'm getting Bosh. It is what it is.
Look,
if I keep getting jumped, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna give some backup. You feel me?
I personally don't have I understand it. I'm not gonna say that it's a problem, but when you come into the league donned as the chosen one, wearing number 23, the expectations are a little bit different than if it was just someone else. But I mean, it is what it is. He got his championship. I'm glad. It's good to see. He got another one. In LA, go ahead. They're tied with us, but it is what it is. I mean, I personally want to see the battle for 18. I want to see that. So if we're gonna do that, cool.
I tweeted that I think that night when they won it.
I'm ready for it.
Like them battling. So there's two things so the NBA is at a point now. Well, let me first say congrats to Bron.
Sure.
I don't care what anybody says about calling it an asterisk ring. That's not true. That was
Jonathan. We were right.
Have you been saying that?
Hey, we were the only ones on the show that
Sammy
called
and I
that.
were right. Only ones on the show that called for the Lakers. I mean, I was a little excessive instead of sweep, but listen, I'll give kudos to Jimmy.
I said 5 or 6.
Let me first say that Jimmy did ball out and did not make the sweep happen. I'll give him that. But stop calling Jimmy a superstar, man. Listen. Superstars do it every game, right? Like even when LeBron lost, he still produced at a high level over and over and over again. That's why I don't have him at that level.
So you don't think Jimmy's a superstar because he couldn't get?
I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's like.
I don't think he's a superstar because
star.
there's too many times during the regular season and the playoffs in the past. Obviously, when he was with the Bulls and even pushed Minnesota to the playoffs. He will have like either a game or two of dominance, and then a game out of nowhere, just 8 points.
Sure.
No,
I'm not
superstars to me are
asking
more than just giving you random 40-point games. They're giving you consistent 25 to 30 no matter what, and then the 40, 50. Or finding other ways to dominate on the court. He doesn't do that every game because he doesn't have that endurance, the athleticism to do it. So it's so much more comes into it. You know what I mean?
I have to step in as a resident Bull to tell you guys, Jimmy Butler is a category of his own. He is not star. He's not superstar. This man is underdog to a T. Look at the man's credentials from the time of being someone that got kicked out of his own house at an age that you probably shouldn't get kicked out of a house. But nonetheless, from that to faxing your literal college letter from a McDonald's, your acceptance letter, to making your way all the way to the NBA draft and working your way up from, I remember seeing this man get drafted by us. And I remember seeing this man and saying, there's something about this guy. I don't know what it is, but he's going to shine for some kind of reason. I felt it. If you'd have told me this man was going to go and take a Timberwolves team to elevate them from the playoffs, coming back from an injury at that point and literally battling it out, getting them to the playoffs, regardless of the turnout, just the fact that he was able to make an impact like that. Then this man goes to Philly, has Philly in contention. We see what Philly has done since the man's been gone. And
nothing.
Front office needs to be
they've
replaced. They need to be replaced because the fact that you get rid of someone like Jimmy Butler, who worked extremely well with Joel Embiid, extremely well, and they also had shooters on that team as well. That front office honestly needs to go.
Yeah, they should have won the chip that year.
That year was their year.
It was their year. It was their year, and it just goes to show. And then I mean, we see him. Where did everybody go? Okay, there was it. Sorry, I disappeared off my screen. Okay, Jimmy Butler. Then I mean, again, in a moment like Miami, just the fact that everybody and their mama thought they scratched their heads at that move. Like you thought, okay, either LA, Clippers, Lakers. Those were the automatic two. Like, okay, which one will he go join? And then I think you had a couple of other contenders in there, maybe a Houston. I remember people thought he would end up in Houston with James Harden and that core. And next thing you know, he's in Miami. And everybody's like, Miami? Who's out there? And you're like,
don't get me wrong. So when I say Jimmy's not a superstar, that's not a slight. Like everybody that plays well in a season or a playoff doesn't just need to be called a superstar. You can still be a great player and dominate on the teams you're on, right? Like if Jimmy had ended up on the Lakers, would any team in the league had a chance? No. I mean, Jimmy
is AD still on this team as well?
With AD, I'm saying the squad they have now.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have anyone else.
Yeah, that would.
But they
most
wouldn't
of the guys
have.
That picked up were all minimum contracts. Like,
most of them are minimum.
Well, they wouldn't. I don't think they could make it happen because Danny Green was making like 16 a year.
Well, Green wouldn't go.
I don't think he
wouldn't have been signed.
I think that's
I thought he came in a trade. Did he not?
No,
he was a free agent with Kawhi. Yeah, he was a free agent with Kawhi. Because actually, they thought that Green was going to go pair with Kawhi because they have such a friendship and chemistry. They thought he was automatically going to end up there, and that wasn't the case. And he ends up in LA. Smarter decision on his part, I guess.
Well, obviously not at this point.
He is a back-to-back champion, technically, people.
Hey, man.
Let that sink in.
People were like to say things about him, but he did his role. He
has one more championship than Kawhi now. Also, let that sink in, people.
What I don't get though, why he got so much backlash. Like, yeah, he missed a few shots. I mean, who doesn't in their career? You have to also understand most of the time he's out there trying to guard. Like, he's running around, like wasting a lot of energy trying to run after like Duncan Robinson and all them guys because he's probably their best perimeter defender. And that game was what, like a one possession game? Well, why wasn't any like that means you're nitpicking at things. Well, why didn't anyone say anything when Rondo, who's a really great, rebounding point guard, he gets out hustled by Kendrick Nunn on a basket or on an offensive rebound, Nunn gets it, they score. So I mean, if you look at it, that's another possession. I mean, I think that one particular game, Miami just wanted it more than LA. But I wouldn't hold it against Danny Green.
But you remember the LA fans did the same thing against Steve Blake. I think that was the OKC series. I forget what year that was, but he got death threats. I think his wife got death threats as well. Same exact thing.
I think that's stupid.
But it's LA, guys. It's LA.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what I don't understand. It's not like it's there's no excuse for it. Excuse me, but this is not like a franchise where the fans have only had like one title in like 40 years. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not that level.
At that point, they're just spoiled, a lot of fans. But you're talking about a so far and few between compared to the majority. You know what I mean? Like I don't think real fans were hitting up Danny Green, Steve Blake. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think
people
so
that
it's just weird. Came at
your old like. I'm sure that messaged the Celtics players and said some shit. Like, those aren't the real Celtics fans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't relate to that at all. But,
I would take Danny Green on the Celtics. I would.
Well, as the great Drake said, Twitter fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Twitter fingers turn to Twitter fingers. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So it's ironic, really, because that's a shooter in his own right. So how about that bang, Danny Green?
Hey,
for the championship.
Shit, man.
I'm here all will.
Like Derek and Sammy said, I'm happy for Dwight. He had a huge redemption story.
Hall of Famer for sure. Now
Ray John to me, I can't lie. Like before, during the regular season, I was like, could playoff Rondo really come back? Like he didn't play well. And it's a real thing. Like I literally think it's mystical at this point. Like the man just turns it up, and a lot of it's this, right? For Rondo, it's a lot of this. Man.
Yeah,
he's just that guy.
I knew him going to LA was going to be very intriguing from the standpoint of his basketball IQ matched with LeBron's basketball IQ. I knew it was going to be a very magical thing to watch. But Rondo is a very special player, and I think he gets the short end of the stick a lot, and I don't understand why. It's not like he's out here saying a lot of stuff like, say for example, like what Patrick Beverley did. You see what I'm saying? He's not out here taunting other guys or whatever. He's just doing his thing, and I'm happy for him. I'm genuinely happy for him.
It's like for Rondo, he's almost too smart. Like he really is. So without
he'll be a coach one day for sure.
Like Bron's is equal, I would say, in IQ wise, right? Basketball IQ and maybe in general IQ. But I think those are the two highest basketball IQ players in the league. So anywhere Rondo was before that, he had a better IQ than most of his coaches. They weren't going for it because they're like, I'm the coach. He's like, well, I'm smarter than you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is Rondo supposed to do? Like, for real, that's just really the guy he is. And he's definitely a coach.
That's why I love seeing Rondo with Brad Stevens. I mean, he was there for a short period of time with Brad.
Well, they butt heads, though.
It was still good to see.
Oh, no. It's two great minds to see.
It was still good to see.
More so the chemistry wasn't there. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, it was also a rebuilding team too. So
and I personally, Rondo, as much as I love him, he's probably my favorite point guard of all time. He's not the type of guard that really thrives under Stevens. Stevens typically does well with like scoring guards.
Right.
So
makes sense.
Just wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the season's over. I'm ready. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think is going to like be the next step? Are we waiting?
Well,
Are we waiting till January? I mean, what do you guys like?
I think that's what's going to happen. I think the season, from what I've heard from my friends and people I know around the league that work for teams, it sounds like it's going to start sometime after Christmas.
Okay.
Which is
Which
great.
makes
Shorter
sense.
of a wait.
Yeah.
Shorter of a wait. I love
Yeah.
that. I'm a big fan of the during the summer basketball. I love that.
Summer
So
League.
let me say this: Do you think this is intent to still get 82 games in, or are they going to shorten it to where, almost like a lockout season, where they start?
I think personally there should be less games to begin with. I think there should be 58 games because then you won't see as much people doing load management, and games mean a lot more. And fans who decide. I mean, I'll never forget that picture of a fan who drove like 4 or 5 hours to see LeBron, and then he didn't end up playing.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean,
a lot of
I-
surge
horrible.
teams back in the day.
I think there would be a lot less of that. I think there should be 58 games.
You know, and not just I would say even for quality on the court too, because you hear a lot of like the biggest arguments for everybody that not just LeBron, just anybody that played in this bubble. Oh, they had 3 months to rest, blah blah blah. I'd rather see fully healthy, fully rested ballers than guys that are struggling to get things going. Right? Like for me, I want to see the best. I thought the bubble brought out the best in everyone. Like
For
we all
sure.
know, T.J. Warren looked like man, a whole nother world of a player, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but I feel like he always had that in him. Maybe the pressure of the NBA environment, didn't let that come up. Now we saw it, and now maybe that's what he does from now on, right? So, like I would rather have everybody at the top of their game and make it more competitive.
Are you guys because most likely what will happen is that we will have those bubbles for the next season without fans. Are you comfortable with having another season like that?
I think I can see a situation where they're going to try to do fans in the stands. I maybe limited capacity. I think it all depends on when the season starts, because who knows if there's like a vaccine coming out. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's so
Well, they
many
were saying
factors that
would
come
have till
into it.
spring.
Well, it could be honestly, bro. That's optimistic. I think. I mean, some people were even saying the end of this year that we would get the vaccine. It's a novel virus for a reason. We don't know anything about it. It's mutating. It's changing. We don't know. So
Yeah.
I think the best thing is to mandate masks, add on sanitation, clean all the facilities over and over and over again throughout the day if you do have fans in that facility. But I think not necessarily a bubble where all teams are there again, but maybe zoning bubbles, right? So like a northeast bubble, a southeast bubble, a northwest bubble, and so on and so forth, a southwest bubble. And maybe at that point, maybe they get rid of the normal standings. Maybe the best 8 teams or 16 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, you think we're gonna see that next year?
Why not? This is the perfect time to test it, right? So if you do,
The bubble was a perfect time to test it.
well, they couldn't have. Well, they kind of did that in a way with bringing extra teams for the play. It was technically, even though they were fighting for the playoffs, all of them were technically in the playoffs at that point. Like
For sure.
we all knew that who was going to make it, basically. You know what I mean? But I think if you do that 4-zone kind of thing, you're eliminating all the division games that used to exist anyway. You might as well just try out the 16 total. Like I'd rather see the 16 best teams.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm a fan of the thought of those division games having specific weight, like division games and also like a series. I want to see something involved with those things for the playoffs as well. Like there's got to be something, or even if it's not playoffs, maybe it's something else. But like, because I know they had that in-season tournament idea. They didn't even do that this year, did they?
They plan
No.
to do it
But-
eventually.
Yeah.
But I do really like the idea of the playing game. I think that's one really good positive that came out of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
I
good.
really
maybe
like that
maybe you
idea.
can incorporate something like that with the division games or something like that. But I
So,
like the idea of having weight with the division games, even if you're going to shorten the season. because it just means that there's
I
something.
mean, so maybe with a shortened season, they can not even go bubble, right? I mean, so I think we need if they decide to not do bubbles, there needs to be a combination of every protocol the NBA followed, along with how the NFL operated when they operated correctly. So Dwayne, not the Titans, because they obviously fucked up. But so they did. They messed up when it came to the protocols. You know they did, bro. You don't get a 40-person outbreak without breaking some protocols. And there were some players anonymously that said, yeah, maybe some of the rules are being broken or nobody really cared about them. So, I mean, if players are saying it, then it ain't a lie. Either way, you know what? I thank y'all because you guys were essentially the Marlins of baseball. You guys were what happens when an outbreak occurs? How can we stop it in the future? And what do we do to fix it? So now the NFL should be set going forward. So, and I'm sad, nobody really got sick or hurt, obviously, but I'm saying you guys were actually an example of how to deal with a pandemic. So, but I don't know. I think they can maybe do a mix of NBA, NFL, and figure out a way that we just open up the stands, open up all the facilities again, as long as they're safe and they require and mandate certain things. So I see, Parker could probably speak to it more than anybody if he was here, but in college football, they're loading the stands up and don't care about you.
Oh my gosh! Let me tell you, I saw that Oklahoma Texas game. I mean, there were so many fans there. No one was wearing masks. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Right. So the NBA will never allow that. I feel like Adam Silver, no matter what facility it is, would show up to that stadium and slap the shit out of someone who wasn't wearing a mask. Like Adam Silver's not playing games, bro. He's
definitely the best commissioner in all of sports in my mind.
You guys heard the rumors that the NFL's trying to womp him, right? They're trying to take him to replace Goodell.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that because I want the NBA to keep going. But
I'm more of a fan of the bubbles for next season. I mean, whether you only do it for one more season and then we get back to normalcy after that, that's cool. But I would
maybe do half a season.
Yeah, I would prefer to do the 4 bubbles and you do half a season from January until July and then off season, and then we jump back into it in October.
So let me ask you this: how about still do the 4 bubbles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not only going to play the team in your bubble or the teams in your bubble. So as long as they keep that facility pretty much closed out to anybody aside from NBA players and staff and so on and so forth. Let's say Lakers are in the Northwest bubble and the Celtics are in the Northeast bubble, right? Which is most likely what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Lakers can go play the Celtics in the Northeast bubble during the regular season. But since it's so enclosed.
So where are these bubbles? Are they in Florida still?
This all would be hypothetical, but I'm assuming they would pick one stadium. I can't even. Most likely New York for Northeast because New York's been the most strict with COVID in terms of state mandates and things like that. Southwest, I don't think anybody Southwest is following protocol.
Well, might as well just go back to Orlando. You might as well do that.
There you go.
So here's the thing, though. If you do that, the whole thing with your and this, I'm only playing devil's advocate here.
Oh no, you're fine.
The whole thing was if you leave the bubble, if they even step outside of it, they have to quarantine for like a few days. So now you're talking about players not being able to practice or anything for a few days once they leave their particular
part of my
bubble.
thinking. I think Derek, you're kind of on the same boat. So let's say, I'm gonna give a few teams: Lakers, Blazers, and Grizzlies are in the Northwest, and they have to play some teams in the East and the Southeast. They would all play each other for about 2 weeks in that bubble. So there would be that time frame for them to do the couple-day quarantine. And then for those 2 weeks, they're staying in Orlando to play those teams in that bubble.
It's all about the scheduling because if it
had to be a very intricate scheduling.
Yeah.
I feel like the people be working double overtime in the front offices probably, but it'd be an idea that you would enter the bubble, enter quarantine for however long they, the recommended, health guidelines, and then whoever's in that bubble you're visiting, you play as you would normally in a schedule.
Why not
That's
just
my process.
Why not just have all 30 teams in one bubble and then just get a bigger campus? So you have more courts to play on.
Well,
I don't
that's
know
just a
if you
matter of
have
can they
all
do
those
that?
teams like that. Yeah, because
You know
if
where they
you-
could do that, honestly, but there's been some
You saw
Daryl Morey issues.
they could
China could
they
do it.
could just play on
For real.
those practice courts that they had. I mean, I'm sure they could do it. I
yeah,
think they'll
well,
be
see,
fine.
but
They
my,
still
my
want
thing
some.
is, but my thing is like you have all these teams that came to this bubble. That was what 22 teams, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're only talking about fitting 8 more teams. It's
Eight
not
more,
really
yeah,
bad.
it's not that much, but I think if you split them up in fours, in like four groups, just based on schedule, and just you
Yeah.
play
What's
these
tough? What's tough? I see what you guys are
and
saying.
go
What's
into the
tough for
bubbles.
But
me?
you're gonna prolong the season then. It's
But they
just
were
gonna be really long.
really long, and the thing is, for me, to not make it long, you're gonna have to have games at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 1, and
People would watch. They don't care.
Oh yeah,
well,
for
People
I'm
sure.
will
not sure
watch.
about that though, because I mean, during the COVID crisis, people were home; they're not working or just remote working, whatever. People are starting to go back to work, so it's almost
Right.
like a matter of they can't,
Well,
right?
well,
So
Adam Silver said that the goal is to do 82 games next year.
he did say that.
So if the goal is to do 82 games and you're starting in January, that season's probably going to end around September.
Now.
Yeah, September, October.
Whenever.
So, yeah.
Same
So
idea.
if their goal is to do that, 82 games and full playoffs, I think it could possibly work where we have groups of teams in specific bubbles, and then like maybe like four teams switch out at a specific time, and you just go ahead and you have
So
those
is it
breaks.
so? Let's going off your idea. Let's just say it does happen in January. It starts in January. The vaccine is supposed to come out in the spring, right?
Yeah, that's what we've
Supposed
been
to.
told.
So if that does happen, then maybe once it does come out, you send the players home for like a few weeks. They get the vaccines. Then you start having the season, like fans coming out the games, like halfway through.
Okay,
You're
so
just-
here's
you're
my
running
thing.
into-
I don't know if it's safe to do a mass gathering after the vaccine,
Okay.
because we don't know what the vaccine is going to do.
Well, I'll tell you
We've been
guys
told.
right now.
We don't know.
I have a buddy who's military.
Mhm.
Any vaccine that is confirmed to work, the military is getting it first. So
They
you
have
guys
to
need to
take it.
understand
Yeah.
that, and I'm sure you do for the most part, but in general, we this can be argued whether it's good or bad. Our country operates based off the military. They
sure.
will get every single vaccine or health luxury ever. They're the most healthy people in the world. They get triple the amount of vaccines any normal human being gets. So they'll get it, right? And,
Sure.
and they would never give them something that would hurt them. So once I know they're cleared from it, I'm good with taking that shit because they ain't gonna kill the whole military.
Taking it. I'm
Well,
never
I mean,
taking it.
look.
I don't even take the flu vaccine.
I'm talking years down the
Like-
road when they go through all the process, right? Like I'm gonna need
Right.
like multiple different strains. This isn't a medical debate thing, but either
All right,
way.
Yeah.
fellas.
Yeah.
But-
All right, fellas, listen. We could go all day, but we've actually got to transition. So real quick, as we've been talking about the NBA, as we know, there's still a draft that was looming. That is definitely meant. And so in between all of this, we still also have to get a draft done so that these teams can go ahead and get their new rookie protocols and all that good stuff. So, fellas, we know that we all have respective teams. Really quickly, just kind of address the strengths and weaknesses of what you think your respective teams need in this upcoming draft.
So you know me with the Knicks. Here we go. So we had a draft lottery, and I'm like, yeah, we suck. We're about to get the first pick. Nope, we got the 8th pick. So I'm at the point now where I'm hoping and praying that LaMelo drop. So not drops because he's not good enough. Obviously, I think he's going to try to force himself to the Knicks. LaMelo Ball. I hope so.
Yeah, that
because
ain't happening, bud. He's gonna go like top 3.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen. Hopefully, listen. If there's ever a time I need LeVar to open his goddamn mouth,
Hey, Derek.
it's right now. It's right now, and it's you say, my son ain't playing for any of you bitch ass organizations. He wants to go to the Knicks. I need that. LeVar, wherever you are, pray to BBB. Where are you? Get your son to the goddamn Knicks. We need him. But no, I think we need a point guard. So for me, I think we need a point guard, whether it's through I would be okay with Chris Paul only because the way his contract works up, we'd be cap free anyway around the end of his contract. Meaning we'd have a lot of cap space, so it kind of would work out.
He only have 1 year left. He's only 1 year.
And I think the cap is
he's got 2. He's got 2,
right?
No, that's
It's not.
Is it 2? I'm pretty sure
Chris Paul has a 1 and then a player option. And there's no way he won't opt out of that because it's $40 million.
Yeah, but if he goes to the Knicks, he might. So,
listen, 40 mil is 40 mil because if you opt out of it, you're not going to get that 40 mil again. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, if he wants to opt out early, I'm good with that. That's fine. I'll take the 1 year. But
so Chris Paul is your dream free agent.
So LaMelo is my dream pickup, right? So for point guard, we need to draft one regardless. I think Chris Paul can be to that point guard, whoever that is, what he was to SGA in OKC. Yeah. You know, mentor, getting him ready to take over the spot kind of scenario. So I'd be okay with Chris Paul for sure. Apparently Melo would come back to the Knicks if Chris Paul goes there. I can see Melo seems to have changed, but you didn't follow the Knicks as much. There was a lot of we know Melo more than anyone, and it seems like he changed. I'm gonna put it that way. So we'll see. I love the man. I everything he did for the Knicks, but we'll see if he actually did. Aside from that, man, we just got to develop our young guys. Hopefully Thibodeau can do it. Thibodeau's usually, not really a development coach. Hopefully he brought in a great staff though. The guy, assistant coach from Kentucky. No, it doesn't mean we're gonna get some Kentucky players to come to us. AD's not coming. All these fake crazy Knicks fans thinks every year we're gonna get a superstar. It ain't happening. We're not getting AD. It ain't gonna happen. Yeah. He's building a coaching staff of developmental coaches. They're gonna get the young guys ready. Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett. We do need some mentors in there.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, he's man. I swear the Celtics would love him. Listen, that boy.
Man, I would love Mitchell Robinson.
He's a 20 rebound a game player. Easy right now before
he never does that well against Boston though.
He doesn't play minutes, so he never played much minutes. That's a problem. And Thibodeau, for good and for bad, is going to play him like 48 minutes a game. So we'll see if he can handle it. But, yeah, I mean, you guys obviously from Celtics know how good of a coach Thibodeau can really be. Mm-hmm. He was with Doc. Yeah. Comes from the same tree. So I have confidence in him. I'm not going to
ask Dwayne.
But
this guy knows more than anyone. I know.
Hey,
just make sure he doesn't run your point guard until he tears an ACL. That's all I'm saying.
Man, that was Derrick Rose's fault.
No, that was Thibodeau's fault. Do you remember how we were whooping? Do you remember how we were whooping Philly? There was no need for him to be in the game. Yeah,
but that was
we were destroying Philly. There was no need for him to be in the game at that point.
I hear you.
He should have been benched.
My thing is with that is Derrick Rose was bound. That was bound to happen. The way he played, he was putting a lot of pressure on his team.
He was playing on borrowed time. Yeah, he was.
It was borrowed time because he was too athletic.
Right, but
agree.
That is Derrick Rose is one of my targets.
I'm so glad you said that because when you said point guard, I'm like, well, man, people think my boy just
didn't you already go there, though?
No, we tried to do a Celtic. No. He's not talking about the Knicks. Yeah, done that.
Oh yeah,
he's talking about the Celtics.
I'm talking about the Celtics.
I can't handle Rose on the Knicks again. No,
yeah, I'm talking about the Celtics.
He produced for y'all. Thank you very much.
No,
I went to a game and watched him live. Him and Noah actually did.
Yeah,
pretty
me too.
Freaking well for y'all. I don't like y'all gave
You're
Noah that
still
big
paying
contract.
Noah too.
Yeah, I don't know why y'all gave him that big contract, but hey, that's a
Noah.
That's a Knicks.
Noah's set for life, man.
he's a new native New Yorker, so I get it. Noah, get your bag, brother. Get your bag. You know, he's always a bull for life, though. But your Celtics, I guess that's a good transition. Then, what are you thinking? You guys need to attack both free agency plus this draft. I mean, you guys got that great coming. Mind. You know, Mr. Ainge is a great mastermind. So,
yeah,
what are you guys seeing in this future?
I will always say this: Danny Ainge always seems to make the move that I don't want, but then it ends up working out, right? I remember they signed Daniel Tice. I can't tell you how many times I cussed, like, talking to Derek. Why are they signing this guy for $5 million a year? He never has played. Blah blah blah, and he ends up being pretty good. $5 million now for Daniel Tice seems like a steal.
Oh no, it is a steal.
I remember, and I will always admit it. Your guys are gonna laugh at this. When they got Jaylen Brown, right? I was rooting so hard to either trade the pick for Paul George or Jimmy Butler.
No, I had to talk you out of it.
Right,
I had to talk you out of it like 2 years ago.
And I wanted Dragan Bender. I wanted Dragan Bender instead of Jaylen Brown. And then a few years ago, I wanted Josh Jackson instead of Jason Tatum. I mean, I was so wrong about both things. So
I had to talk you out of that Jaylen Brown draft.
I know. I traded for Kawhi. I was like,
you said trade him for Kawhi. You said trade him from Jimmy Butler and Paul George. I'm like, yo, like, bruh. No.
So now I'm realizing these guys are – Tatum is almost a superstar. He's already a star in my mind. He's damn near close to being a superstar. Jaylen Brown, in my mind, is like one leap away from being a star. Like, he's very, very close to being. I mean, if not, he's not already. And those guys are only 22 and 23. I mean, my God, how good are the Celtics going to be in like 3 years when those guys are in their primes? But what I would like to see, and I was telling Derek this, a big man would be nice. However, I don't mind them running back with the big guys that they have. Cantor can be useful in like spotty minutes. Daniel Tice, even though he is small, I mean, you look at the Miami Heat, their center's 6'9". So, I mean, size. I mean, yeah, they struggle with rebounding a lot. Having Gordon would have been nice. But the guy I want to see is JJ Redick. I think what they need the most, and that team, they shoot a lot of threes, the Celtics, but they're not that great at shooting threes. I mean, Derek, at one time you were joking, but it's kind of a fact. Like, why do I trust Marcus Smart more than anyone to shoot threes, right? And he seems like the best three-point shooter on that team. So I would.
That was literally just for the Toronto series.
Shooter.
Right. That was literally for the Toronto series. And I hated that he was able to shoot that much because I knew going into the Miami series that was going to kill us.
I know, but in all honesty, they could. I want someone to come up. I think their biggest need is not just scoring, because I know you were mentioning Derrick Rose. I'm talking about someone who could come in and shoot like 4 or 5 threes and just make it like a Duncan Robinson type guy. So I'd like to see like JJ Redick or Kyle Korver. I know those two are going to be free agents. That's who I would go after.
Yeah, I want to target, and bear with me. I want to target those two. I want to target Aaron Baines because
I would like to bring back Baines.
He's unrestricted. He's a big and he can stretch the floor.
And he has a great relationship still with a lot of the players.
Yeah.
The only reason why they did that trade was a last-ditch effort to get Horford back. To save cap.
For sure.
I don't think they wanted to do that trade. So
no, I think they will try to go get him. From what I understand, Cantor is most likely going to opt out. So
okay, I wouldn't be mad. I want to see Robert Williams get more minutes anyway.
Yeah, so my two big targets in terms of the 4 and 5 would be Aaron Baines
Baines.
as the free
I'd
agent
like that.
and
Can stretch
trading,
the four of them too.
yeah, and possibly trading for Mobamba. Very
Oh man, I
underutilized
would love
in
Mobamba.
Orlando. He's someone I would like to go get. If we're moving on from Cantor. Now here's the thing. I think we need to move on from Cantor. No, if not that we need to move on from Cantor. I think we need to move on from Vincent Poirier. So
Oh
if
man.
Poirier is gone, if Poirier is gone and Cantor decides to opt out, those are the two that I want to replace those two.
What I will say, and I know we were kind of talking about this earlier off the air. I wouldn't mind a Dwight Howard. I think that would be
Yes.
nice.
Dwight Howard
I
or
still
Cousins.
think Tice would start over Dwight, but having Dwight off the bench would be
Same
nice.
thing with the Lakers.
Go ahead, Jonathan. You had a point too, so we're gonna get to you in a sec because I know you had a point to add.
But one last thing I will say to Derek's point about trying to go after someone, there has to be a move. I think they already have like 13 or 14 guaranteed contracts, and Gordon Hayward's going to opt in. I mean,
for sure. He'd be stupid.
And I want him to, and I want him to be here.
Yeah.
And I hope that they work out a long-term deal in the range of like $20 million a year for him.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to make it, and they still have like 3 first-round picks. So there has to be a move at some point.
Trade the picks. We don't need to draft anyone. I'm sorry. I know there's some guys.
Jonathan, I'll give you all those picks for Mitchell Robinson.
He's baiting him. He's baiting you, Jonathan.
You need to load up anyway.
It's the Nick way.
Mitchell Robinson and RJ Barrett are off limits, man. Finally have talent, young talent. I'm not giving it away, but look, I mean, obviously I'm not a Celtics fan, but I do think Dwight would be a great pickup only because he's shown he's willing to come off the bench and producing some big minutes, get the defense, get the rebounding, be active on the floor. Mm-hmm. I think no matter what, you guys need, and Corver and JJ Redick were perfect examples, a veteran presence off the bench.
Yes.
That plays.
Specifically
not like Jared
can shoot.
Not like a mascot.
Yes, that can shoot.
That can shoot, right.
Yes.
But you just, for me, you need that veteran player that's going to play, that's going to shoot well, to mix in with those young.
Smart.
Well, he's not
that veteran.
He's the vocal leader, but almost like a guy that shows it with just that shows leadership rather than speaks leadership, right?
Yeah.
Like doesn't bend, doesn't break, is going to give his all and shows you how to operate within the playoffs.
That was Al Horford.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you guys had Al Horford with this team in Kemba this year, you would have been facing the Lakers in the finals.
For sure.
I'm confident in saying that.
Hey, but what I will say is Tice did produce probably the same that Horford would have did. Stat-wise.
Too many fouls. Yeah.
But sometimes, you know what?
It isn't. Stay out of it.
Sometimes it's not just about stats, too, because Horford's defensive presence, first of all, was never stats, right? Like he just knew where to be on the floor. He was the floor general on the defensive end, and he was
the lane a lot.
He gave a lot of intangibles. Mm-hmm. You guys need someone like that on the squad because with Tatum turning into that, honestly, I've been on the boat of already calling him a superstar. So this is from the outside looking in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm there basically calling.
I think he's almost there.
He's like right there, right? Like
he's like
this next year is going to put him no questions asked if he balls out. Brown is turning into the star, but you just need those veteran presence to even like a Trevor Ariza. I think Trevor Ariza would be great for you guys off the bench. Defensive, can shoot the three, knows the floor, been in the playoffs, battled in the finals. Like that's a guy you need. Someone like that. Has a championship.
Derek, let me ask you this, or guys, you can also chime in. There's been rumors out there, right, that one Miles Turner could be available.
Nope.
Would you trade Gordon Hayward for Miles Turner?
I'm not trading Gordon Hayward for anyone in Indiana. No.
Really?
Yeah, because it makes no sense. What Gordon Hayward brings to this team is something that is more valuable to me than trading for an Oladipo or a Turner.
Well, I don't want
Because-
Oladipo. I would listen to Turner
No,
if it involved Hayward, and I love Hayward. Trust me, I do. But if they start to try to talk like Marcus Smart, I would tell him kiss my ass. Like Smart
I'm
is
already
so
telling them that just
untouchable
with
for me.
with Gordon Hayward for Turner, because if you're telling me, so I'm assuming the idea would be to get him to be the guy that could stop a Bam Adebayo, Giannis,
Or because he's a big
Embiid.
that can play defense that can still shoot.
Yeah, I don't want him.
Like he played really well.
Not for Hayward. Now, if you're talking about a different
I
move,
know.
like a Semi Ojale or something like that, okay.
Well,
And
the cap's not going to match
Trade one
up.
of them. Trade one of them first round picks.
Well, you have to
I'm-
get the cap to match
The
up.
cap, yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
cap,
That's
yeah,
the
for
thing.
sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting rid of Hayward for Turner. Now because Charles Green mentioned trading Hayward and Smart for Gobert.
No,
I'm not doing
No.
that either.
I'm
As-
not
as-
trading Smart. I'm
as-
not
yeah.
trading Smart. He's so
Now, if
untouchable.
you could figure out a
Okay.
way, if you're talking about Hayward for Gobert, straight up, if the salary match, you either throw in
You're gonna have to. It
Well,
will match up, but you're gonna have to throw in like. But the
You're gonna throw in a
danger
shade or
with
something.
that is Gobert is an unrestricted free agent.
And also the
So-
danger with that is that Gobert is not someone that I feel is
Modern fit for the NBA.
he's not
Yeah,
fierce. He's not fierce like these other guys. I'm not calling him soft or anything like that, but his Marcus Smart would get into his head as a teammate. You see what I'm saying? Like I want
Mhm.
someone in there that's like Al Horford that has heart. I don't want to have someone that's going to take plays off. You see what I'm saying? Like to me,
I
don't like that.
I do have a suggestion for you guys, and hear me out. So now, when I speak of the Celtics, I'm speaking of championship caliber. Like
Mhm.
when I mention this player, and you guys might agree because you love him or whatever. If you get rid of Hayward, because for me, Hayward's the essential point guard of that team, right? Like he's the point forward. Because
For
Kemba
sure.
isn't really a pure point guard. Okay.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
you get rid of Hayward for a pure center, maybe a Gobert, let's as an example, okay?
Mhm.
Rajon Rondo.
Off the bench, he would have to
I mean,
come
but
off the
what I'm
bench.
saying is he comes in and gives that point guard presence. You know, gives you the
Now,
20 to 25 minutes. What Hayward would essentially give you when on the floor.
Provided
by
we
the
are moving
way-
on from Wanamaker. Provided
Say that
we're
again?
moving
I
on
like
from
Wanamaker though.
I know.
I like
but
Wanamaker.
if you're talking about bringing another point guard, which is we would be doing if we're getting Rondo.
hmm And any,
Redick.
by the way, any hypothetical move you have trading Hayward, that means that Marcus Smart is probably
attached.
going to have to start. Only because you're rolling out a lineup of Kemba, Smart, Tatum, Brown, and player X.
And you build your bench with guys like we said, right? Like JJ Redick and
Mhm.
Trevor Ariza. I
don't
mean,
know.
look,
I
for
like
me,
Smart starting all season like that.
I want to ask you
Yeah.
this. If you guys had no Hayward, Gobert, and playoff Rondo off the bench, do you win the chip this year?
I mean, I think that they're going to be, to be honest, I think even if they roll with who they have, and if they can just add a couple shooters, I think they could contend for the chip next year with the
For sure.
very
So
similar
for me,
roster
it's
that they have.
contending is one thing, and again, I'm speaking as a Knicks fan, so it's a little different. But contending is one thing, but
Mhm.
you're talking about actually going to win that shit now. You know what I mean? Like it ain't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I love these guys. I know they can do it. It's no. This is how you do it. I think if right now I'm asking you is this year, this bubble that just happened.
Mhm.
Oh,
If you have Gobert going against Anthony Davis and you have playoff Rondo instead, do you win that chip? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think
You
they
win
would.
the chip. I'm telling you right now, you win the chip.
yeah.
Because
See,
Gobert, at the very least, limits, I wouldn't say stops Davis, limits his full effectiveness. Okay. And
Mhm.
you're getting the playoff Rondo productivity.
for sure. For sure.
Why not?
I'm not against it.
Why
at all.
not?
I'm not against it. Not
But
against
the
Scott
thing is,
Gale.
Anthony Davis is more of a perimeter player. He doesn't really bang out like inside a lot. So I don't know if having Gobert would be great because he's more of a paint protector. Now,
So
granted,
Gobert plays well. I mean, he's defensive player of the year. So it's the same thing with the people trying to say with Dwight. He plays well against shooting bigs. He just obviously doesn't play well against driving guards. Like no center defensive center is right. Like they don't guard guards; they guard their position. So I think he'd play well against Davis's skill set.
All right.
I think there's gonna be a move at some point. It just depends on like what that move is gonna be. There has to be. They can't have all these players on the roster. So I mean, like I'm just speaking. Like there's gonna be a trade at some point. I just don't know if I want to make a huge move. I would welcome Miles Turner, but it really depends on what the Celtics are giving up.
And I have a quick honorable mention.
Go ahead,
Isaiah Thomas.
I would like to bring Isaiah back. I mean,
Isaiah
I
Thomas
love him
off the
so
bench
much.
with Marcus Smart and maybe like let's say like a JJ Redick and Langford, Baines, Robert
And you don't
Williams.
even have to get rid of Wanamaker then. You could just like go with both of them and see who has it that night off the bench. And if one of them does or one of them doesn't, then great. You just don't play. You could play them like 50% of the time.
Yep.
For me, I just want you guys as fans. Trust me, I know it. You fall in love with certain players. You know that they have the potential, but you guys are talking chips now. This isn't. Oh well, we got 2 more years for Wanamaker to make it happen. No, we need Trevor Ariza instead or JJ Redick to make it happen. Like
sure. That's what I'm saying.
Your thought process, right? Like you can't be content or happy with the guys that you have in your squad. If you can improve now, it's the time. You can literally turn yourselves into a dynasty going forward. Make it happen.
Cantor, Vincent Poirier, Shimmy Ojale are the top guys that I see that will not.
Cat space has to
work out.
Do you think? Go ahead, bro.
All right, fellas. Listen, I know we could go on this subject as long as we could, but we got to move on. So that being said, we're transitioning from. Before we do this, I must say it though. Make sure everybody watching, everybody listening, remember to say their names because the NBA season has concluded, but we cannot forget the entire purpose of why the NBA season resumed and what the NBA season was about and what it is still about. So that being said, we are transitioning over from one sport to another, and we are going to talk NFL. First things first, fresh off of the presses, there is a running back, depending on how you want to say if he's still star status or not. There is a running back, ladies and gentlemen, that is now officially on the market and has been released by, well, Jonathan, a fake New York team, if you will, I guess you would say. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the New York Jets have released Le'Veon Bell. Fellas,
listen.
What are your thoughts on this release?
He's going to go to
Where
New
do you
England.
see this man going?
Hold on.
I think he's going to New England.
What? Okay, so as a Bills fan, I'm going to thank the Jets organization for many reasons. Okay, they destroyed Sam Darnold. Thank you. They released Le'Veon Bell. Thank you. They let Robbie Anderson walk, who's top 5 or top 4 in the NFL in receiving yards now.
That was so stupid.
I knew that was going to
Mind you, they needed all those guys, right? And Adam Gase is the worst coach in the NFL. He's worse than Bill O'Brien. And I don't understand how this man can. I mean, I'm happy as a Bills fan because he ran the Dolphins to the ground. He ran the Jets to the ground. And he's still able to make decisions with the Jets. What are they? And the Jets have doubled down and gave confidence in that. They sent out a statement last week that said, we have the ultimate confidence in Adam Gase. We are letting him run his process. You know where your process is going to get you? To hell in the next 10 years because they're the new Bills. They will have as long as a drought as the Bills had if they continue to let Gase run that show. Period.
I think Gase has something on them. There is literally no other reason as to why that man.
And the Dolphins too, man. Because I don't know how he can. And mind you, it's not like he went to a team across the country. He went to a team in the Jets, obviously, in the same division. Those Jets went against those Dolphins, and how terrible of a coach he was. How did they not? I mean, I'm glad because I'm a Bills fan, but I feel bad for Sam Darnold because he is a good guy. He's actually really good friends with Josh Allen, obviously the Bills quarterback. I mean, I'll take him as a backup. If the Jets want to get rid of Sam, I'll take him as a backup.
I don't see Sam staying there much longer. Either.
No. People say to the Steelers possibly or something for Big Ben's replacement in the future. But and in terms of Le'Veon, obviously we played against him week 1. He had 150 yards scrimmage yards, I think, receiving and rushing. Obviously, I think he still got it. He's only 28. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to give him a big contract because no running back make big money.
I think New England's like the ideal spot for him to go. I mean, if there's one, Bell is kind of like that gadget running back type player, someone who can like catch a ball in the backfield, line up in the slot or something. To me, that just screams Bill Belichick and like what he loves in his running backs. And I think he would be a perfect fit there. I know there was a lot of rumors out there saying like Kansas City. I think that would be bad for all Clyde Edwards-Helaire fantasy owners. But the Chiefs would just get that much better. That offense is already so unstoppable, and then just adding a player like that. But I think New England is the perfect fit for him. I said even when Pittsburgh was about to get rid of him that he should go to New England, and I just think he would be a perfect fit for him.
And I would
love to have
Tom
Parker
Brady
here to tell me. Yeah, I would love.
And that was with Tom Brady. So with a Cam, and when he gets back, we've seen what Cam's done. So that does fit a dynamic. I'm sure Cam would love to throw it to that guy, and having who he already has and Edelman and all of them, this could make that team a little more interesting.
And remember, he did really well with Christian McCaffrey, like that type of running back that also catches a lot of passes. So I think it would be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I think New England makes a ton of sense. I also think it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility of him going back to Pittsburgh. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I would love him in Philly.
See, I would love him in Philly, but you know what? Doug Peterson wouldn't, because Doug Peterson doesn't know how to utilize Miles Sanders. So what in the hell are we bringing Le'Veon Bell to Philadelphia for?
Derek, could I ask you something? Or Samuel, I ask both of you actually. How the hell does Miles Sanders run for 75 yards and not see the ball the next drive?
The thing was that one run, like his stats were skewed. That one run was like the reason why his yards were a lot that day. I mean, he was mostly getting bottled up for the game. It's because the Eagles don't have that guy. Yeah, and it's also because the Eagles just don't have that guy to take the top off the defense, so teams always just stack the box against them.
I think when we get Rager back, and I guess if Deshaun is ever going to play again, I don't know.
Derek, their cap is so. I don't know if you pay attention. Their cap is so screwed. They have the second least cap space heading into next season.
Are the Jets not still paying him though? That's what I was under the.
They are, but I'm just talking about moving on. The Eagles' cap space is just so messed up.
For sure,
it's so
bad.
Because
they need to have Howie making these deals with Jason Peters. That's part reason why, and they're not allocating a lot of the money to positions where they need to go, like linebacker.
I think they're at the
point where
it would be great
to have him in there with Miles Sanders, though. It would be great, but
I believe in Howie in terms of cap. Like, he'll find a way to still get players in next year. I do think they need to start like a soft rebuild starting next year, just because the cap is like trading Ertz. I think he's going to get traded because he's making a decent amount of money, and that's the player you could probably get something for. I mean, I don't know.
I honestly think the Eagles, for me, they just got unlucky. So they took advantage of the window. So the window is your young quarterback isn't on the big contract yet. You can give other guys big contracts. Well, during that window, everybody got injured, so they couldn't keep trying to go for the repeat, right? And then Wentz contract came in, it's like shit. we have to pay Wentz and everybody else we paid. So now they're stuck in cap hell. Injuries, riled up, and they had to let guys go and new talent in. That new talent got hurt. It's just a cycle, Sometimes you're just unlucky.
Yeah,
it's just what the NFL comes down to sometimes. And as far as Le'Veon, I think Le'Veon would be a bad choice. You're just going to bring in a vet that wants to win and might have a piss poor attitude because you're not winning. I don't know if he's the guy to really elevate young guys, right? I think he wants to just win right now. And for me, I think he'd be great on the Seahawks. I think you put him in the Seahawks would be great. He brings a different facet to the game, obviously. Not necessarily the ground and pound running back they're used to. But, I mean, putting him on that field with Metcalf and
what about the Rams?
Who?
The Rams.
The Rams, yeah. I mean, wherever he's going, he's getting a vet minimum contract. He's not going to get. I just think he has the best chance to play in New England. But Derek, I just looked it up. They're only stuck in cap hell for one more, like next year. The year after, they have like $50 million. So they just got to be careful not handing out any stupid contracts. Like the defensive tackle position, they have so much. They have so much money invested in the defensive tackle position. It's stupid.
Right now, I am pissed with the Eagles. I don't even feel like talking about them right now, to be completely honest. These people don't even – I want to win more than they do.
I don't know, man. I would start the soft rebuild. Zach Ertz is a guy I would let go, as much as it pains me to say because I love Ertz. I'd let him go. And anyone who makes an insane amount of money that isn't like – I would let Jeffrey go. Definitely let Jeffrey go next year. I think he's still under contract.
For sure. Yeah,
so,
for sure. So we actually have one of our co-hosts that actually has to leave. We thank him so much for joining us on what's been an amazing episode. So, of course, they know I can't let this guy go without saying, I got to get your thoughts, man. When you saw King Henry literally just mush Josh Norman like a little kid across the field, sir, what did you have to say about something like that?
First of all, Josh Norman shouldn't really be on the field for 100% of the snaps. We're just injured, so I'm going to say that. Trey White has a back injury. Levi Wallace broke his ankle or did something to his ankle. And Norman was supposed to be a guy that kind of spot fills when they're tired, right? So that's the first thing. Honestly, for me, if you look at the play, he was off-footed, if you want to call it. Like he was losing momentum.
Tried to tackle high.
Is this like the Michael Jordan push off thing?
He was falling over his feet, tackling high against a 6'5", 255-pound running back. It's gonna happen.
I don't know why anyone bothers trying to tackle high against Henry. I mean, it's stupid. Just dive at his feet.
Go low.
And hope for the best. But real quick, the Bills. I'm gonna say thank you, Dwayne. You settled that team down a bit. We were 4-0. It's been a long time. I think since 1994, since we were 4-0. You were the punch in the mouth. It's still great. 4-1 right now. We're still great. You were the punch in the mouth we needed to kind of wake us up. Like, you guys might be the reason if we beat the Chiefs, it might be because of the Titans. I'll put it that way. Like, we played the Chiefs.
What's going on with Singletary, man?
I think he's injured. So maybe we go for
fantasy.
Maybe the Bills go for Le'Veon, partner up with Josh Allen. Who knows?
You never know.
Hey, especially if Singletary can't go. Yeah.
And I mean, you guys are legit contenders, so it solidifies. He needs a contending team. So,
he's used to the cold.
Yeah, there you go. It might fit. It just might fit. Well, in New England's case, that's the same case because it gets cold there
I'll
too.
tell you right now, though,
but New York is different.
Listen,
so is New England. Have you seen those snow games?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, trust me.
But
I'll tell you right now, for me, the Titans, after watching that game, they could be my sleeper, man. They
It's
have
super every year, man.
Listen,
You know,
they have-
hey, I try
Go
to
ahead.
tell
Hey,
you.
Malcolm Butler.
Tannehill has found his legit home. He has made a believer out of me after last night. Like,
Oh yeah.
really, even going into
Oh,
the
you were
playoffs
still
last
doubting
year,
it?
I was doubting him because, again,
As a consistent.
Miami, in consistent terms, I was doubting him. Not his talent, his consistency. But now it's something about when you have Henry, who's already the distraction that defenses are focusing on, because you don't want him to do like what he did to Norman or something and just run through your defense. Now Tannehill, like they mentioned, he can kind of just sit in the dark. You got the weapons. You got your A.J. Brown, who came back yesterday and made an instant impact.
Thank you.
And then you've got,
And
I bet you're
Smith.
happy. Jonnu
he's on my
Smith,
fantasy
who's
team
an
too.
up and coming tight end. Jonnu Smith, who excellent replacement from Delaney Walker. Thank you, Jonnu Smith. But just the weapons are showcasing themselves. Khalif Raymond, Corey Davis at times when he decides to show up as well. So it's coming together, and Tannehill's reign of phrase. So
Listen, I'll tell you what, not having Trey White against AJ Brown killed us.
You can tell, man. I will say I like the matchup with you and with the Bills and the Titans. There's a lot of similarity when I was watching. I know you guys had a pretty rough game yesterday because our defense was scaring me at first, and then they just clicked. Clowney,
right,
and all of those boys are just
right.
That was a great spot for him to go to.
Malcolm Butler.
Dude, there was a time where the one of the Bills like play-by-play guys that kind of follow the Bills out here in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, if not for his athleticism to get away from it, was pressured 11 straight plays. 11 straight plays. And
like
he didn't get sacked. He didn't get sacked once. He didn't get sacked one time because Allen's, he's like Big Ben but faster. He just doesn't go down.
Yeah,
they did catch him on a sack one time, but that was I forgot.
I'm just talking about
but
during
after
it was
that was tough.
Y'all some ballers, man. Y'all some ballers.
Hey, listen. Likewise with you guys, because again, I looked at this game this was my important game for a lot of reasons. This is one of them. The next one is Baltimore. Before the COVID situation, I was actually intrigued with the Steelers because I wanted to see if we could beat them because they're looking like the old Steelers again, offensively with Ben in there. So I was like, I wanted to see how we fare.
Chase Claypool. My God.
Playing you guys now.
Hey, no. Hold up. Jim Schwartz got to go.
Yeah, he does, dude.
Jim Schwartz got to go.
They look really good when they blitz. When they blitz, they're amazing. But then when they start to lay back, they stink. So yeah.
So I do have to let you know I do have to bounce. Thank you so much for having me.
Listen.
Being on with me.
Absolutely.
And I'll catch y'all later.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, good sir. Hey, until the next time, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, fellas, as we continue some football talk, let's talk about you guys' division right now, specifically. And we know that in previous years, you guys' division has always been whose division is this year and who's going to take it this week. But this year seems to be completely odd. I mean, we saw a horrific injury get well soon. Dak, we saw where he is now completely inactive for the rest of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Andy Dalton comes in, who we know is not exactly a bad quarterback. So we know that he can hold the fray for Dallas offensively, but should they somehow go to the playoffs, we know what Dalton's capable of in the playoffs, and it's not great hope. So given you guys the situation, we know Washington has not been looking great, and we know, like what is going on? The Giants are the Giants. So fellas, what do you see? How do you see the rest of this season playing out at this point?
I said this before. I don't think any team in NFC East needs to go to the playoffs. I know someone has to, but no one in that division deserves the playoffs at all. Like this is horrible.
Yeah, and looking at this weekend against the Ravens, they're probably going to lose. They're probably going to get their ass kicked.
Probably.
I mean, I mean, this isn't one of those situations where we're like, oh, they always beat teams they shouldn't. Like, I think the Ravens are going to dismantle the Eagles. But then you look, I'm just
Especially if
looking at their
Schwartz plays
schedule.
that defense the way he played it last week against Pittsburgh. Yeah, we're done.
And I'm looking at their schedule following that. I mean, they got what's supposed to be a couple easier matchups against the Giants and the Cowboys. I mean, they should win those games. You got the Browns, who are, by the way, surprisingly really, really good this year.
Cannot sleep on the Browns.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
one of my predictions
looking,
that I actually got right this year.
Yeah, you did.
They're looking good. And then they're probably going to get dismantled by the Seahawks. They're going to lose to the Packers. I mean, this team, the thing is, it's crazy. The team that wins the NFC East might make it with like 6 wins or less. I mean, like, the NFC East is so bad. I mean, I don't know. See, that's the thing is, the Eagles could easily make the playoffs with like 7 wins or something like that. Or if they miss the playoffs, they're going to get like a top 15 pick. Like, that's why I'm kind of hoping they just don't make it, because I know they're not going to. And I'm always on the like make the playoffs. You never know what happens. But this is just, I don't see it this year.
This is.
I want them to get a good pick.
I couldn't care less about the pick right now. This team is okay. Off season, this team looked like it was legit NFC champion contenders at minimum. That's how they look. But you're seeing with the injuries on the offensive line, Lane Johnson most likely. I mean, at minimum, he won't be playing on Sunday. So like, there's so many injuries on the offensive line. With receivers, we're getting some of those guys back, but I don't have faith in Deshaun Jackson staying healthy. I'm sorry. Alshon Jeffrey, we'll see what he can do. He might open it up a little bit for Zach Ertz to start getting some production. But Rager is the guy that we need to have back for sure. We need to have Rager back, and we won't have him back for another, I think, 5-6 weeks maybe. So it's to me, it's one of those things where I honestly, this is a season where I just don't have any hope in what these Eagles are going to do. I really don't. Jim Schwartz got to go. He's got to go. You don't play defense that way. And there was a touchdown that Claypool had where he was lined up behind Connor and then like 2 of the guys. They stacked 4 guys on the left side. That defense was completely away from picking that up. I don't know how. And to be completely honest,
they left a linebacker on him.
Oh, no.
And they called it.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm not talking about that one. The red zone. They were sitting in the red zone.
Yeah.
And Claypool was standing behind 3 guys. That there was like maybe 2 defenders over there. And they just left him wide open to just run straight into the end zone. Jim Schwartz has to go. That's the end of it. He has to go. There needs to be a whole mass exodus of coaches. I don't know what is going on.
I would keep Doug Peterson though.
Doug Peterson, I like Doug Peterson. I like him a lot, but his play call is questionable at this point. It is very questionable.
Yeah, but you have to also understand the Eagles aren't healthy and they don't have a guy to take the top off the defense, like I was saying. So do you really want to rush Miles Sanders like 20, 30 times and the team is just stacking the box?
Yes, but you don't, and I understand that, but you don't take the run out of the play call and continue to throw. You don't do that. I don't care if the offensive line is injured. I don't care if Miles Sanders only gets 2 or 3 yards. You threaten with the run to open up for the pass. That's basic football.
Sure.
It's basic. And Peterson is not doing that. So yeah, I'm at that point where get it together or go. Because everyone is blaming this solely on Wentz. I don't understand that. This is not solely on his shoulders. He deserves blame.
He has no one to throw to.
Yes, And Fulgham,
Now that dude, I love
that
that
guy
dude.
can ball. That guy. Now having Fulgham, I'm gonna tell you who I want as a receivers for right now. Fulgham, Rager, I
Ward.
guess Ward, yeah, but I guess Hightower is a good prospect. Um, just like
Deshaun, if he can come back.
I don't have faith in his health. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm saying if he's back, he's your best receiver.
I
If
don't want
he's
him as the
back.
best receiver. That's the
But
thing.
he is.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to be targeted as much. He doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, but the thing is,
But
man,
that opens
you
up for
saw
Zach
that.
Ertz.
Yeah, but Zach Ertz, I think, is going to be on his way out next year.
Oh, and another guy we need is Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, that dude, he's good. I like Dallas Goedert. I think he has the
Yeah.
tools to be like a top 10 tight end in the league.
Yeah,
I think if he's healthy and he has time to like develop, I think he could be better than Zach Ertz. He reminds
sure.
me a lot of like George Kittle, that type of player.
But in totality, the NFC East is horrible. Dallas's defense is garbage. That is a trash defense. Their offense is good, but their defense can't do anything for the offense.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Like they look good. Their defense, like at one point, aren't they like top 3 or 4 in sacks right now? The thing is, they're so good when Schwartz actually wants to blitz. When he wants to blitz, they're good. But then what happens is he starts to ease up on it. He starts to ease up off the blitz because they sometimes will get leads in games, and there's like, all right, we got to protect the end zone, and then he just doesn't blitz, and then that's why they start losing. I mean, man, I think, and I got rest in peace Jim Johnson, but that's what I loved so much about him is when that dude, he blitzed a lot, and that's remember when we had great Eagles defenses, is when they blitzed, and this zone defense is just not like, this isn't Madden, right? Like this, a lot of people who play Madden, you run zone defense. This isn't it. Like you got to apply pressure, and he just doesn't.
I don't remember if there's ever been a time where both Dallas and Philly have been so bad at the same time, and their defense, both like. I think the only bright spot for the Philly for the Eagles defense is two, Darius Slay and the defensive line.
But he's hurt now.
The defensive line, and see that's what I'm saying. Like right now, it doesn't even mean anything. So like both defenses are absolute garbage. I'm not even counting New York's defense. Yeah. They are what they are. Washington's
New York's defense is actually decent.
But see, that's the thing. Washington's defense and New York's defense, to me, are better than what I've seen from Philly and Dallas. And that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. I mean, this division, I said it before, and I'll keep saying this again. This is probably the worst division. Like, if it's not of all time, this current 2020 division, this might be at least top 3 worst divisions ever. This is horrible.
So, as currently constructed, Derek, you mentioned how Washington and New York seem to have the better defenses, while you both, Dallas and Philly, have the better offenses. So, in a flip-flop effect, let me ask this:
they have the offensive talent, the Eagles? I don't know if they're better.
Who, Dallas?
Well,
the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are one Monday night game away from being the worst team in football. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that the Eagles have a better offense.
In comparison to the other 2 teams in the division.
Yeah, I would say.
Outside of Dallas. Like you guys, you and Dallas have the better 2 offenses of the 4 teams in your division.
What I'm saying is I don't know about that. I don't know if they are.
So, let me ask, is it too late? I know you mentioned, Sam, the cap situation with the Eagles right now and what it's looking like. Is it too late to turn this around in terms of trades, in terms of trying to get a few pieces to make this look a little bit better than what it looks like right now?
Well, the thing with the NFL is different from the NBA is You don't see a lot of in-season trades. It normally doesn't happen. You look at what starts next year. The Eagles have like almost 60 million in cap space in 2022. It's just next year it's going to be bad. So what I would do is you're already in salary cap hell next year. You might as well trade players to try to take somewhat of a cap hit. Like I would trade Ertz, get a few draft picks. Next year's probably going to be a little rough too. Peters is going to retire, and if he doesn't, I wouldn't bring him back because you can't count on him. Lane Johnson, I hope he can stay healthy. I don't know if he is. I mean, who knows? They got to do something with the linebackers because, I mean, right now, Nate Gary is your best linebacker, and he's bad. So, like, on any other team,
Well,
he's a guy
what
that
about
probably
Sean
gets
Bradley?
cut.
Sean Bradley to me needs more reps.
And what about that dude they drafted in the 4th round? Who's like
I think
really
that's Bradley.
fast?
I think that's Bradley.
No,
Who?
the guy
who
from
passed?
Colorado or Vanderbilt or
I don't even know. But
I gotta look at it.
Bradley needs more time. I think he only played like
Davion Taylor. That's who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen him out there either. All I know is Jim Schwartz has players out on the field, and apparently, what I was reading yesterday. I'm sorry, Howie Roseman has say in who suits up. If that is even remotely true,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Howie Roseman is not a football guy. He's only cap. He's only a cap guy.
Right. And if Lurie is not going to fire him, he needs to demote him.
No, and I remember what you were saying. I remember a few podcasts ago we were talking about that. I probably wouldn't let Howie go because he is a cap wizard. Like, he is great with the cap and finagling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let him continue doing that. Just that, though.
And
that's it.
And I know Chip Kelly did a horrible job here, but the idea behind getting a guy to control that was really good. So they need to get like a better scouting team in there. Because my God, I'm still going to be mad at this forever. But like, God dang, dude, you draft, like, you're telling me the Falcons wouldn't have taken like the Eagles' 1st and 2nd round pick to only jump up a few spots to get CeeDee Lamb. I'm still so mad about that. And instead you end up with Rager, who could be good, but then you take Jalen Hurts. And I'm just like, I don't get that.
I actually like Hurts. I like what they're doing with Hurts. But I'll say this. These arguments of, like, we could have gotten CeeDee Lamb, we could have had DK Metcalf.
I mean, we could have had those. Can't do anything now about it.
I know, but we could have had those two guys. But do we actually know that they would have been balling out in Philly?
Oh my gosh, yes. I wanted DK so bad compared to JJ.
I wanted DK as well. I wanted DK. I was screaming at the TV to get DK for sure. But are we sure he would have been balling out like he is in Seattle, what he had been doing that in Philly? Because we see Nelson Aguilar
better than what JJ's doing. But the thing was,
for sure,
they already had.
We've seen Nelson Aguilar go from Philly, and you see what he's doing in Las Vegas right now. Sidney Jones was in Philly, and he is killing it in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Rasul Douglas was in Philly, and he is killing it in Carolina. So this was like, I'm starting to think that there might be something about some of these coaches in Philly that just don't know what the hell they're doing.
I like how you mentioned coaching because that's always a factor. Bringing back with my Titans and what we said about Tannehill. Tannehill has been a perfect example of someone with talent in Miami, but couldn't get over the hump because the culture of Miami, as we know, is not the greatest, which means the coaching is not the greatest. Then you bring him here with a Mike Vrabel, fresh out of a Belichick tree, who has created and set a culture and has a system in place that Tannehill is soaring in right now. And he's having arguably probably his best statistical career right now from what he had in Miami. So I agree with you, Derek, when it may be something to talk about with a bit of the coaching and the culture right now going on, maybe.
And And that's what I'm saying. Those guys, Jim Schwartz for sure has to go. Like, there's no question about it. But Doug Peterson, I am like, I know I said a couple of weeks ago I want Eric Bieniemy, like, for sure. If they're not going to get rid of Peterson, to me, the dude is on a very, very thin piece of ice. Because we have these young pieces. You don't have that big of a window with young guys like that in the NFL. I mean, Wentz is, this is his 4th year in the league, 5th year in the league. You have Miles Sanders going into a second. Like, this is the time to do it. Like, if we're not going to do it, then just kill it. Just kill it. I would rather than just kill it right now and rebuild completely than to be sitting here with high expectations for a team that is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender, and we're sitting here looking at a 1-3-1 record. That is not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Not acceptable. So they got to figure it out. Dallas, to me, has a built-in excuse because they didn't have any time to with these new coaches to really develop anyone and work with them. So to me, Dallas almost has like a pass to me this season. Washington, pretty much the same thing. New York, Saquon Barkley is gone.
New coach too.
New coach. So they have an excuse. Philly has no excuse. No excuse. Get it done.
I mean, they can't
or
stay
be done.
healthy though.
The injuries are one other thing. That's totally different. But when you have guys out there and you're not even coaching, like, this is a coaching thing. If you're not going to coach the guys that you have on the field the best way you can and utilize them the right way, like, why in the hell would you put a linebacker on the hottest wide receiver on the opposite team? Why would you do that? It's not.
And the funny thing is, they called a timeout right before that, and they still kept the linebacker on him.
Still kept him on him. So it's a coaching thing to me at this point. This is not.
I think that was all Schwartz, though. I don't think that was Peterson. Peterson doesn't call the defensive plays. So
I'm aware, but he's not calling the right plays on offense that he should be either. Like I said, you're not calling as many running plays. The only running plays that I'm seeing, for the most part, is out of Wentz. And that's because he's running for his life. So get it together. Get it together.
Please, because Miles Sanders is on my fantasy team. So
I have him on 3 fantasy teams, bro. I trust me. I'm right there with you. But they got to get this together. I'm about to figure out a way to trade Zach Ertz. I don't like. Dwayne, you had the right idea by going after Dallas Goedert. Even though he got hurt, you had the right idea.
There you go, man. I could, man. I had to try. It was shooting for my luck. Well, fellas. I know the Eagle talk. I don't want to, down the atmosphere for you guys. We had to address this division because it's been the story so far, mostly of the NFL in terms of, I guess, surprise factor, given, again, those two teams mainly. Because I'm pretty sure, again, everybody expected you guys in Dallas to at least be head-to-head back and forth. And to see this is kind of a shocker as far as that division is concerned to a degree. But
they should win the division easily. Dallas should win it.
We will see, what happens. Because, again, the circumstances aren't the greatest for them right now with Dak's injury. So we'll see how things play out. And exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But what I would love to do before we wrap this thing up and call this an episode is I would love to know right now, give me your top 3 teams in the NFC and your top 3 teams in the AFC right now.
We got to look at the teams. I said in the beginning of the year, before the season even started, I said it was Baltimore and Seattle going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to stick by that. I think that's what's going to happen. I do know that Baltimore lost to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs now look human after losing to Vegas. So I'm going to stick with that. I still think Seattle and Baltimore. Let me look here.
Well, it's funny you said the Chiefs look human because we saw them lose to the Raiders.
Raider, yeah, Vegas.
in a
That's
big
what I said. They lost to
fashion.
Vegas.
In a very big
Mhm.
fashion.
Yeah, that wasn't even close.
So
That's
I
what I'm
will
saying.
say
That was weird. That was weird. And Nelson Aguilar had himself a game. That dude is starting to look like his Super Bowl year.
So wait, the Eagles are still in first place? Are they really? Jeez. I'm looking at this now. I think they're still technically in first place in the NFC.
It could be the
Jeez.
tie. It could be the tie.
Yeah.
That tie is going to kill them. That's what I'm saying. That is horrible.
So I'll say the top three teams in the NFC East are going to be, for me, Seattle, definitely. I think they're just in a class of their own right now. I mean, their defense isn't even playing that great.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the worst passing defense, I think, but I think that's only because their offense is so good that teams have to pass against them, just because they fall short a lot. So I'm going to go Seattle, Green Bay,
Okay.
and another 4-0 team. And then another team, I know they kind of messed up on was it Monday night or whatever, Thursday night. I'll go Tampa. I still think Tampa's going to come out of the NFC South. Fournette can get healthy, Godwin and Mike Evans can stay healthy. That team is really still young. They have veterans in the right places. And I was talking that when I got my cut today, I was talking to my barber, and he said, and we were talking, they probably have the second best linebacker in the NFL, in Levante David. No one really talks about him outside of Wagner. So, I mean, they have some nice young corners, good young secondary. I would go with Tampa. I would say three. I mean, I know you only said three. I still think New Orleans is going to pick it up.
You can give it. Yeah, that can be your.
I would say honorable mention. I'll go. I don't want to give it to Chicago because I know they do this every year. They're good in the beginning, then they suck. I would probably go New Orleans, honorable mention, because I know they're dealing with some injury right now. Derek, I'll let you go with it.
Real quick before Derek goes, I'm surprised to hear you say what you just said about Chicago, given who's at quarterback for Chicago right now.
Nick Foles. Hey, I love Nick. I like Nick Foles.
Magic is the truth.
Yeah, I think he's a game manager more than anything, but that's what they need, right? They just need a guy to not turn the ball over. Allen Robinson is getting his credit as one of the better receivers in the league. He has been for a while. Now he's getting the talk. The defense is solid. I just think that if Tampa, you have to understand, they're also dealing with a lot of new players, a lot of new faces. Yeah. So, I mean, when that team gets going, you have to, I mean, that team with a defense with Levante David, Vita Valle, and Sue, and then you're also White. And then on the offense, you got Brady with hopefully a healthy Fournette and Ronald Jones. And then you still got Gronkowski and OJ Howard. And then you're still Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, they have so much firepower. That team will be good, assuming they can stay healthy.
Vita, I think, is out for the season. I think OJ is out for the season as well.
OJ, did he get hurt?
Yeah. I think OJ had an ACL or something like that. I'll say this. The Rams look good, man.
Okay.
The Rams look good. So for the NFC, for me, I'm going with Seattle, Green Bay, and the Rams as my top three right now.
Okay.
I like what I'm seeing with the Rams. I've had my doubt with them, especially with Goff. But I mean, something about them looks different. And I'm somewhat wondering, if that's, of course, losing in the Super Bowl, was that year before last, and they just fizzled out last year. So something looks different about them though. So I'm gonna say the Rams is my top as one of the top three. They put a whooping on us a couple weeks ago. I mean, made Goff look like Joe Montana. I mean, he was killing it, but it's not just it wasn't just the Philly thing. They've literally just every week they've been playing sound football. So,
So I'll
Do you have an honorable mention in
change.
there, Derek? Real quick before we
no.
honorable mention for you.
I'll-
The solid top 3 right there.
That's gonna be my top 3 because Tampa Bay, to me, they look good, but
on
those
paper.
injuries,
There's a lot of new faces.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to do it this year. I mean, the
Yeah.
Saints look the Saints. Now I will say this. Maybe I have to say the Saints as an honorable mention because they look like they were dead in the water this week, and to come back. It was Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
They came back
Without Michael Thomas.
Without Michael Thomas. Of course, first half you get on social media, everyone's talking about Drew Brees is washed. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I don't know. I found it very interesting that they took him out and subbed him for Taysom Hill in the red zone. That's the dynamic that he brings to the team. I don't know, man. New Orleans looks pretty good. I'll put them as my honorable mention.
Okay. So Sam,
so
what were you gonna say?
I didn't realize the injuries to those two guys. I'd probably go with then New Orleans ahead of Tampa.
So you swapped.
It's
Tampa
close. Very close. They're close.
Okay.
Now
So I'll go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say the AFC, right?
Yes, we'll get to that. I'm going to give you guys a pick. I'm going to kind of jump in this thing with you guys as well. Have a little fun here. So for me, I do agree. We're going round table here. It's unanimous. Seattle, point blank period. Russell Wilson is a beast. He's looking like the best quarterback in the league and the MVP. Agreed. So Russ has 3 comeback victories already, I believe, within this season alone. So this man is definitely, the Seahawks number 1. I'm kind of half and half right now in terms of Green Bay, Chicago, because since this Nick Foles effect has taken over Chicago,
I'm happy.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna roll more with Chicago than I will Green Bay. I know Aaron Rodgers is killing it, but Chicago finally has something to light their fire even further. And I just feel like, I don't know, man. I think Chicago's finally gonna be on that mission people expect it, because you don't have Trubisky turning the ball over this time. And Nick Foles, we've seen what he's done. You guys are Eagles natives, y'all know. So I'm going all the way with Chicago as number 2 for me and who I'm keeping my eye on. And my number 3 are the Carolina Panthers, because I actually told you guys.
Yeah.
I said this on this very show.
But they do this every year.
This team. No.
They're good in the beginning, and then they stink it up. Trust me, I know. I worked
it's reverse.
for them last year.
Usually it's reverse. What do you mean? It's reverse. Cam was hurt last year. Remember, there was that factor. So it was just kind of like, I don't know what happened
last year.
That was just kind of came.
That was just last year, though.
That was last year.
They did the same.
But
in
this
year
effect,
before.
like I said, man,
in terms of being injured.
No, he was playing the year before. They still stunk it up towards the end. They do this every year.
But see, first off, here's where you're wrong, Sammy. Here's where you're wrong. See, number 1, that was Riverboat Ron era. It was time for that era to end in Carolina, sadly enough. It was time to end. It worked what it did. It made it to a Super Bowl. Didn't win the Super Bowl, but it's something about teams when they make Super Bowls. If you don't get back to that, the culture dies. We just saw this with Atlanta. Quinn is gone. And literally quotes were mentioned. Okay. There was a specific quote mentioned. That culture died literally. I believe the game your Eagles beat them. That's when the brotherhood died. And that was a inciting report. So from that point on, that's why these slow starts with the Falcons were happening, because they just weren't believing in brotherhood. So with Riverboat Ron, maybe it was just falling apart culture-wise. We'll have to get Brother Mike Jeezy on to actually kind of give
we'll have to talk about that.
We'll bring We'll bring our brother Mike Jeezy, our Falcons specialist, to actually kind of
Yeah.
give that thought, because we got to get his thoughts on that coach firing. But nonetheless, guys, I'm saying Carolina because, again, Teddy Bridgewater finally has the keys again to a team that we have not seen him have the full keys to since his days in Minnesota before that horrific injury. Now, that being said, this man is on a proven mission. He is playing lights out. He's got weapons that I told people when I realized Robbie Anderson was on this team, on top of DJ Moore, who was already a rising star in his own right. And then they don't even have Christian McCaffrey right now, and he's meant to come back at some point. Yeah. The crazy part is they're undefeated since losing Christian McCaffrey. So
sorry,
now,
lost me there for a second.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I was just explaining my case for why I'm picking Carolina in my third team, because first off, it's a 3-way tie right there in that very division. They're all 3-2. But of the 3 teams, Carolina's the one not talked about right now, and they're playing very lights out. And they don't even have CMC playing in the lineup right now. So when he does get back in the field, it makes you wonder.
I'm swapping New Orleans for Carolina as my honorable mention. That was a powerful case. Yeah,
that was I'm telling you, man. Yeah, Carolina. It's a new culture. It's a new coaching change. Like I said, this is a new culture. So you got a mixture of some people who played under the Riverboat Ron era, but they're in this new culture now, so they're rejuvenated. On top of these new pieces that are, I guess, they're just rejuvenated. Robbie Anderson's a man on a mission. This man came out of a Jets culture, losing culture, and here they are 3-2. I'm just saying, it's very winnable. I know they lost to Tampa Bay, but they can always come back and try to get a win on Tampa Bay. You never know. Like I said, divisional games are always tricky. So I got a case, man. I'm saying, man, Carolina, watch out for these boys. They are on a mission. And
this is the season after Luke Kuechly retired.
Exactly. So it's coming to fruition. So my top 3, again, like I said, Seattle for me, Chicago, and Carolina definitely are my top 3 that I keep my eyes on throughout the rest of this season. Now let's transition to the AFC. Fellas,
okay.
Who are you looking at? Who's your top 3 right now that you're eyeballing throughout the AFC?
So I will say with the AFC, I'm going to start with my honorable mention because I know, Dwayne, you're going to ask me about it. I'll go Tennessee as my honorable mention.
Okay.
They're looking good. There are a few teams I'd probably put ahead of them.
Understandable.
I'm going to go with my original pick, Baltimore. They lost to Kansas City. I know that, but other than that, they've been looking pretty good. Assuming they can stay healthy, I would definitely give that team, they're so dynamic with Lamar and all them. So I go them. I'd go Kansas City still in there. And then Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh this year looks really good. Big Ben looks healthy. I mean, there was a quote, something like, he's been balling this year. And he still said, like, a few games ago, it's like, I'll let you know when I'm having a good game. So, like, to him, he's not even playing great to his standards. So I would say, like, and their defense is, pretty good. I would go with Pittsburgh in there for sure.
Solid choices. I love that. Derek, what you got, man? What you thinking?
Man, it's hard to give just 3 because
I know.
The AFC is balling this year, man. This is no particular order that I can't even do the order this year for this division. Kansas City.
Okay.
New England.
Really?
Even though they're 2-2. I don't care. Cam Newton comes back.
They're 2-0.
They're different. Yeah, I'm not. The
and
record
if they somehow get Le'Veon Bell as well,
if they get him, yeah. I'm not even basing this off record right now. Like literally, Kansas City, New England, and Tennessee are probably my top 3 in the AFC right now. Pittsburgh would be my honorable mention.
Leaving out Baltimore.
Look, you know why I'm leaving out Baltimore?
It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, because I would actually put Baltimore ahead of Pittsburgh, but the way they lost to Kansas City to me is huge. That they have their souls. Like, there's no way to say it. Kansas City has Baltimore's soul. So
They're gonna take the Eagles' soul this weekend.
Oh, take it, bro. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to play the game. Like,
Shang Tsung style.
Might as well just forfeit it. Because the way Schwartz is gonna play Lamar Jackson, we might as well forfeit the game.
He's not gonna rush. The thing is, the Eagles are best when they blitz, and they're not gonna blitz Lamar because he's just gonna run away from them.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting anything from them. So yeah, I'll say Kansas City. But Buffalo. Oh my God.
Jonathan somewhere.
Yeah, but they just got whooped. They just got whooped by Tennessee.
Maybe I have to do 5. Those will be my top 5.
I'd still put Baltimore
breaking
ahead
the rules, sir.
Yeah, I'm a rebel.
I'll allow it.
I think Baltimore is ahead of Buffalo. I think Baltimore is better than Buffalo.
Wow.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying
it's close. It's close.
But I mean, yeah, that'll be my top 5. Maybe my top 5. Yeah, because the AFC is just crazy this year. And then you have to actually take the Raiders seriously. Like, this is not a joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to actually take them seriously. Yeah. So
Dwayne,
I don't know, man.
Who you got? I know you got Tennessee in there.
Of course I've got Tennessee in there, people. I mean, I'm dying hard, man. I got us number 1, but obviously, yes. I mean, listen, we're always counted out. I'm glad that we were able to showcase with adversity in the process. I actually think that just helped even more, because when you're always kind of counted out, people think the run last year was a bit of a fluke. Beating Baltimore was fluky. Having Kansas City beaten for like the first few quarters, think that was flukish. And then, it's like, then COVID happens, this COVID stuff. And I think between the mixture of that with coming into this season, trying to finish what you left off at last year, I really feel I'm getting more and more confident each week. I'm not saying that we're going to be undefeated the entire season. I'm eyeballing Baltimore because I know they have revenge on their minds. I'm eyeballing the Steelers because when we play them, we'll see how that turns out. It's always a fun rivalry with them anyway. So there's teams I got my eyes on, and I don't think we played Kansas City this year. I don't think, but nonetheless, it's inevitable with them at some point. We got a clash with them, with making the playoffs at some point. That would be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, especially now because this defense is a lot different. Secondary, well, Malcolm Butler being in it helps it, but it's still, it's Patrick Mahomes, so he still finds a way to torch a secondary. We'll see what happens, but nonetheless, outside of the obvious with the Titans, wow. So, like Derek, this is tough because there are so many teams in the AFC that are literally killing it right now, man, that I almost feel bad to anybody that's a fan of any of these teams. I feel bad if I left your team out. Now, out of respect for my boy Jonathan, I do have your Bills in my top as well, because even though it was a collision course, like you said, every team's going to have that punch in the mouth game. At the end of the day, even with that loss, Josh Allen still looks very great. Still looks good. And when I saw that pass that he threw to TJ Yeldon and how he sat in that pocket, I'm telling y'all, this man he's coming. He's coming.
He has some stuff that he needs to work on.
Yeah, he's got some stuff to work on, but he's coming because he's developing quicker than people think, and I feel like this may be that year finally for the Bills to actually get to the playoffs, make some noise. You know what I mean? Not necessarily go too far. Sorry, Jonathan. I'm gonna be real. I don't see them going too far because he's still learning, but he'll get that experience under his belt. But I got them in my radar as long as they can stay healthy, because health is kind of trying to get in there a little bit for them. But they can stay healthy. I got them. New England, of course. I never count out Cam Parker. Shout out to you too, my friend. I am a Cam guy. I love Cam. I always support Cam. And you know what? When he gets back, this COVID thing, what you saw with my Titans, the same thing's going to happen with Cam. This man's going to come back even more on fire now because sitting out like that, it ain't sitting too well with Cam. I'm pretty sure he wanted to be in that game from last week. So
as if he needed any more motivation.
Oh yeah, this COVID just gave him that much more motivation. So I'm pretty sure, and I'm assuming, I'm knowing Belichick, he might mess around and get away to get Le'Veon there. If Le'Veon gets added to this just solidifies what I feel about New England. But my honorable mention, definitely the Steelers, man.
Leaving Kansas City out. That's interesting.
What about Cleveland?
Here's why I'm leaving them out, because when I saw what I saw against the Raiders, that told me as Derek mentioned with Baltimore, okay, we've seen it only takes one loss to see where a team's weakness is. And when you see what the Raiders did, you got a blueprint now. And you say, okay, that's Kansas City, but they do look human this year. They don't look as lights out as last year. Super Bowl slumps are real. And trust you me, even with a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we know.
All
about that.
Not how they explain that.
I'm just saying, Super Bowl slumps are real. And, well, in Lamar's case, he kind of has a certain little thing hanging around him right about now. So I'm not saying it's going to affect him, but it could affect the team a little bit or something. I don't know. That loss to Kansas City kind of showed a little sprinkle of it. They still look dominant, though. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, because of Pittsburgh, now that Big Ben's back, I think that's the only reason Baltimore had their dominance. Pittsburgh's coming to reclaim that throne that they usually claim in this division. However, my dark horse that I said was coming, those doggone Cleveland Browns. I told y'all that too. I said, I don't know, y'all. That talent finally it's finna reset. I said,
I love Baker. I love Baker.
I said wild card,
I'm happy for him.
And you see, it's finally clicking. So do not. That's my honorable mention.
I'm more happy for Odell. Because it's taken them
I don't like Odell. I do not like Odell. Ever since he pretended to piss on the Eagles field, I don't like him.
I know that. You know what? But they lost that game. It's like, to me,
and he ended up getting hurt that game too.
Yeah,
later on.
I love that he's able to. They're finally getting the ball to him, and
that was the game where Elliott made that huge kick.
Yeah,
the 60-something yarder.
Yeah,
I remember that. And Eagles won the Super Bowl that year, so it worked out for him.
It is what it is. I'm just glad Odell is balling out. He deserved it. He deserved it. Baker.
I'm glad Baker's starting to get some respect.
Now, you know what?
Yeah.
When I think about it, Le'Veon Bell could find himself in Cleveland.
Nick Chubb is out.
You know what? Chubb is out. They do kind of need some running game right now.
But he's going to come back.
And you get to play Pittsburgh twice a year. Just saying.
It'll be a while. Yeah, it'll be a while for Nick Chubb to come back. But, I mean, if Le'Veon did go there, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's something to think about now. I see New England more so than Cleveland, but I mean,
I think he'd fit way better on New England.
I truly see Pittsburgh happening. I mean, New England makes a ton of sense, I could see Pittsburgh being.
I don't see Pittsburgh because of the fact that Tomlin was there before and he's still there now.
But his problem was more.
I don't think his issue was with Tomlin.
It wasn't Tomlin. Yeah. It was the money.
It was the money.
Now he has his money.
Now he's got the money. So.
But remember, Tomlin also said, what did he say? The moment Bell and Brown were gone. Y'all remember that quote?
I forgot what he said, but he was complimentary of them being gone. But here's the thing. It may have been with Antonio Brown being there too. I think if you just have Le'Veon Bell with Connor, Poole, Washington, I think they've got that would open up a lot more. Like, not that they need anything else open for them, but that will open up so much for Pittsburgh. Like, that would be a dangerous team, bro. I mean, they're already dangerous, but if you bring Bell back,
I know it's tough, man. Like I said, something about New England, man. They have a thing for snatching these guys up, and they can do it.
mean,
so
Bell with James White would be very interesting.
the evil empire, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they will find a way. And like they kept saying, Cam has no weapons per se, right? And, well, there's another added piece, even though he kind of really does. So I don't know, guys. Y'all let us know. Let us know where y'all think. If YouTube, what's up? I know you guys been rocking with us live. I hope y'all been enjoying this amazing episode. We want to know from y'all, where do you see Le'Veon Bell landing? What's his landing spot? Let us know in the comments what you think and where you think he's going to end up. And, of course, when the news and the headlines hits, I'm sure it won't be too long before we find out. Literally, probably within the end of this week, next week, somewhere. We'll find out sooner than later. And when we do, we'll see who was right in their predictions. Nonetheless, fellas, it is that time where we like to close out the show. So without further ado, give me your final take and tell the people where they can find you.
I'll go first. So my final take is my hot take that Le'Veon Bell, my prediction will be he ends up in New England. I think it just makes too much sense for him not to go there. They could use him. They need a running back. Sonny Michel's hurt. And I think he has the best chance to play there. I think him with Cam, they would just be an insane offense. And then where you can find me, Sammy, SAMI _OTS on Instagram.
Yes, sir. I don't really know I have any hot takes anymore. I think I said everything I needed to say. Yeah. I'm about to start the campaign for firing Doug Peterson, though. I'm almost there.
Why? I don't think Doug's the problem. I think Schwartz is more the problem.
Hey, look. Yeah, but if Doug Peterson is going to be making all these calls, if he doesn't get an offensive coordinator, I want him gone. He does not need to be doing all that. So it's one or the other. Get him some help or let him go. So I guess that'll be my take. That'll just be it. You can follow me, Derrick DERRICK _OTS, or follow follow. I would rather you follow the OTS page and follow me. So at OTS Guys on all social media platforms. We just got a Twitch account. So I'm making that announcement now. We just opened up a Twitch channel. Hey. Haven't started streaming yet, but we'll be doing that real soon. But you can find on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at OTS Guys. If you're watching us on YouTube, you already know where to find us on YouTube, so just subscribe. But yeah, do look for us on YouTube as well, on the sidelines, and look out for some stuff we have coming out pretty soon. Absolutely.
And of course, as you know, if I have to give a final take as well as a host of this thing, I'm going to just go on a limb and say the Falcons, with Raheem Morris as their interim head coach, will go on to win out the rest of the season, and it won't get them anywhere, but they will literally just look like it completely. They will look like the team that they should have looked like from probably week one. I'm just going to say that.
So you think they're going to go 11-5?
And again, I don't see them going anywhere because
that would be crazy.
But I can see them just, again, new culture. The brotherhood died. Raheem Morris is not going to talk about the brotherhood, and people don't understand. Raheem Morris is actually a good coach. He was a good coach in Tampa Bay. He just unfairly got fired. So here he is in the ATL. You've got one heck of an offense. Why not? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised to just see the Falcons get their first dub this week and it just continually go on a run from there. Like I said, I don't see them making the playoffs or going anywhere, but I have to look that up because I didn't pay attention to their schedule. But don't be surprised. Like I said, culture, new changes are coming. He may be making a case to actually be their new head coach. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we
playing the Vikings, so they could.
Yeah,
I would
go.
Vikings.
There you go.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's my final take for you guys. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm just trying to sprinkle a little faith into the new culture of the Falcons because a new culture is coming now. There's no more brotherhood. So Raheem Morris is making a case to play for a head coaching job right now. So Raheem Morris, let's see what you got, brother. You are up. So of course, follow your boy. You already know on Instagram at Dwayne Dickey Jr. That is my hosting page on Instagram. I am also an artist in my spare time. If you want to follow me on there, you can also follow me at Highlight Life, HILITE Life. That is on Instagram and Twitter as well. And of course, as always, we are representing the OTS network, the OTS brand. So make sure you, first of all, I want to say YouTubers, thank you guys so much for joining us live. You already know what to do. If you are a new person tuned in, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification, and you will see all the content, all the mini YouTube shows we got, all the things coming to you very, very soon, every day, on the day, every other day. Make sure you follow, like I said, the OTS Guys Instagram. Make sure you join the Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, join the On the Sidelines Facebook group. We are always talking cash money trash. We will have to review those who come into the group, so make sure you're not trolling too hard. You know what I mean? But we are nonetheless, come join the group, come chat with us, make your predictions, all that good stuff, man. We got a very great community on there. And of course, visit the website, www.otsguys.com. Catch some articles, learn a little bit more about all of us right here on the OTS brand. You know what I'm saying? And of course, hey, man, to our listeners. Oh, yeah. Last but not least, shout out to our people on Six Families Radio that's listening live to us as we broadcast all the time for you guys. And yeah, Spotify, Apple. Hey, make sure you follow. Make sure you leave a rating, leave a review. Let us know how you feel, what you think about the show. Let us know who you are, and we can shout you out on the show. And of course, until the next time, well, our time's up, and this right here is what we call a timeout. So we are out. Peace.